All right, let's tackle this new problem out. And in this problem, what we're going to do is, well, we're going to read that question first. The question sentence is way too important here. So it says, what is the selling price? So we have to keep that in our minds here. Again, we're talking about some item, but we want to know the price that we are selling it for. Notice, I'm going to show you how keeping focused on what we want helps us sort through this information that we're going to receive. So a store marks up an item that costs $240 by 25%. Okay, so everybody, riddle me this. If we have this item that costs $240 and we are marking it up, as they say here, marking it up by 25%, what does that 25% really represent? What does that 25% represent? Yeah, it represents a markup. And what do we do with markups, everybody? If we're trying to get the selling price, so that final price that we sell it for, what are we doing with the markup once we calculate the actual amount of that markup? Yeah, it's increasing the price. We're going to mark it up. So before we even calculate, we can figure out which of these answers doesn't make sense yet. Because everybody, guess what? If the original price is $240 and the price is being marked up, which of these answers is impossible regardless of how much the markup is? Yeah, answer choice A is impossible. It's less than what we started with. With a markup, you can expect this number to go up. So that's why automatically, before we continue, answer choice A, it wouldn't work. But let's go ahead and get into it here. Here we have $240 with a 25% markup. So we'll calculate 25% of 240 because that's going to give us the amount of that markup, that amount that we're increasing by. So here we go. We'll do 0.25 times 240, or we can use a little bit of mental math if we wanted to. And we can say, hey, I can just move one decimal place here, one over there, but that's just getting cute and fancy. So we can just go ahead and keep things simple by just doing 0.25 multiplied by 240. Here we go. I'm going to write that down over here, and we're going to get straight to calculating. So first we have 0 times 5, that'll be 0. Then 4 times 5 is 20, and we'll carry the 2. And then we have 2 times 5 is 10. Carry the 2 is 12. So from here, we'll go ahead and mark a 0 down, and now we'll start working here. So we have 0 times 2, 0. 4 times 2, that's 8. And then 2 times 2, that'll be 4. Add this all up, and we end up getting 10, carry the 1, and that'll be 6. So that's not 6,000, that is going to be 60, because we have 2 decimal places over here, and we'll bring those 2 decimal places back. So there's our 60. So from here, there it is. 0.25 multiplied by 240, that is $60. But again, everybody, this is the markup. This is the markup. That is what we are adding back to get that selling price. So we had the original $240, and we're adding the $60 markup, and that's what brings us to the final amount here, and that'll be $300. That is going to be that selling price after the 25% markup. So again, that's how we achieve answer choice C as the correct answer. And let's try this new problem out. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to understand what the goal is. Regardless of how complicated or simple a question looks, we always want to start by understanding the goal. So here's the goal. The goal is, what is the ratio of small to large? So what we want to have at the end of this all is we want small compared to large. All right? The problem that we have in this problem, or in this question here, is that when we read through the information, to get that comparison of small to large, what we first have to go through is, here we have the ratio of small to medium, And then we have the ratio of medium to large. So if you're sitting here saying, hey, I'm confused, I am looking for the ratio of small to large, but I don't see that. I see two kind of half ratios where we have small to medium being 4 to 7, and then we have medium to large being 9 to 2. And if you're trying to say, hey, can I just take this and overlap it? Can we do that, everybody? Is that going to work to just get a comparison of 4 to 2? Is that going to work out? No, it's not going to. That cannot work because, everybody, because when we do that, the overlapping value, the middleman, which is medium in this case, it's not the same. We have 7 and 9, they are not the same. So we have to do a little more work here, everybody. Everybody, one time real quick. Is it true that if I had the same middleman, if this number here and here, if they were the same, could I then overlap it? Could I then overlap it and be done? Absolutely. Yes. If I had that. So now that's what you want to think about. Because if you know that that's the point that you're trying to get to, then boom, let's get to that point. Everybody, first question out of my mouth is going to be this. What is the number that we can multiply 7 and 9 to get to? What is the smallest number that 7 and 9 can both multiply up to? Yeah, it's going to be 63 because 7 is a prime number. 9 doesn't have anything in common with 7. So because they're prime number, or because 7 is prime and 9 has nothing to do with 7, multiply the numbers together. So that's what I'm going to do. Let me show you what that's going to look like over here. Everybody, help me out. 9 times 7 is what's going to give you 63. But if I'm going to do that on the left side, I'm going to have to do that on the right side. What's 2 times 7, everybody? That's going to be 14. Absolutely. So there we go. I have my medium to large. Let me write this in purple. My medium to large is going to be 63 to 14. Now, over here, for the small to medium, everybody, what am I multiplying the 7 by to get that 63? Multiplying by 9, absolutely. So let me grab a different color, and I'll multiply by 9 over here, and I'll have to do the same over there on the left. When I do that, 7 times 9, 63. 4 times 9, that gives me 36. So look at this. Let me take this now, move it over, because now we have our equivalent ratio. We just rewrote it in a different form. We basically simplified, but not really. And so with that said, everybody, can I overlap them now? Am I good? Or is the middleman the same number? Yeah, the middleman is the same. Take a look. It's 63 for both. Now, because we have that, we can make the jump. We can make the comparison. We can do that now. I'm going to compare small to large, which is going to be small to large, 36 to 14. There we go. Oh no, when we take a look, that's not quite there. 36 to 14 isn't there. What's the last step that I need to take? It's the same thing that we've been able to do. Simplify, reduce. Yes. Everybody, when we compare 36 and 14, what number can we simplify out of both 36 and 14? Yes, that'll be 2. Yep, that will be 2. When I divide 36 by 2 and divide 14 by 2, I'll now have my final answer, and that's going to be 18 to 7. And that will be answer choice B. And there we go. Again, we needed to make sure that the middleman, the compared ratio or value that basically connected the two things we wanted to compare, if we can make that the same number for both ratios, then we can compare the ratios directly. And there we go.